Alright, hi everyone, welcome to the final stream of 2022. And we're going to start things off by talking about my favourite games of the year and my least favourite games of the year. Kind of put this list together at the very last minute. Let me turn the music down just a smidge, maybe set it to about that volume. Right, that's fine. So yeah, how's everybody doing? I hope you're all feeling good tonight. So we're not going to be doing a whole lot in terms of like, well, you know, games. Like, we're just going to be doing one segment, but it's a good segment, like, in terms of gaming. But before that, we're going to talk about my games of the year and my least favourite games of the year. When I'll get to the least favourite when we get to that, like, because there's like a stipulation to the way I'm loading that. But yeah, this was kind of put together at the last minute. Like, I didn't really... Me being me, I'm the master at like procrastination, and it's like, oh, I waited until the 11th hour to put together this list. But yeah, I basically figured out what games I have here. None of this is scripted, it's all off the cuff. I'm just going to try to explain as briefly and coherently as possible why these games are placed on this list. Yeah, the music's still meant to be going. I put on some Sonic Frontiers music just as background music for this, because otherwise it's just going to be, you know, dead silence. Right, so with that out of the way, let me drag this over here. Alright. And let's begin. So, number 10, barely making it on the list this year, Splatoon 3. Now, my history with Splatoon... I played the fuck out of the first game. I barely touched the second game. I think because I still had like a little bit of leftover burnout from playing the first game so much on the Wii U. So Splatoon 3 was really my proper chance to get back into the series, and it's pretty good. I mean, it's more of the same, but the reason that it barely makes the list is because the single-player campaign, easily the best out of the trilogy. Like, it's really good. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with it. It's, like I said, the best one. And of course, they also included the, what you call it, the Salmon Run, which now you can access at any time, which is a godsend, because that was one of the things about Splatoon 2 that kind of annoyed me, where it's like, oh, there's this really cool PvE mode, but you can only play it at certain times of the week, and it's like, bitch, I want to play this now, please. So I'm glad that you can now finally do it whenever you want, because honestly, I find myself gravitating towards Salmon Run more often than I do with like regular PvP with like other people, like the turf wars and whatnot. So yeah, that and the campaign are the main reasons why this got on the top 10. Number 9, technically this is not a full game, this is DLC, but you know what? Cuphead came out like 2 years ago. And this is such a good DLC, fuck it, I'm including it. It's my list, I'll do what I want, I guess. So yeah, it's a very small DLC, it's not super huge, like it only takes like, not even 3 hours to complete it, like 2.5 hours to 3 hours, I think. But let me tell you something, it's a very densely packed 2 to 3.5 hours worth of content, maybe 4 if you like go for everything. But yeah, in terms of like just the base game, there's a lot to love about this. It's more of the same, but it's really good. I do love Cuphead, and I really enjoyed my time with the DLC. So, there you go. Number 8, this is going to be a bit of a controversial pick. Let me change the songs. There we go. So this is going to be a bit of a controversial pick, like me putting this relatively low on the list. It's because there's like a bunch of good games that I put higher than this, plain and simple, but I just recently finished Pokemon Violet, and I'll probably end up doing post-game in 2023. But yeah, here's the thing about this game. I like it, it's good, I like it better than Sword and Shield, easily. And it does so much new stuff that I really like, that I look forward to seeing for the future of Pokemon. But at the same time, it also leans back heavily on like the old, like, basically like just the bog standard Pokemon formula that you're used to. Like, none of the NPCs speak in voice acting, like, it's all text, which, fair enough, but sometimes I just get tired of, like, reading and just want to listen. But that's just a personal preference. And then, like, the combat, it's just about the same as always, just with a new gimmick, which is the terrestrialization, which is fine. But yeah, the open world is really good, and I'm excited to see where they're going to take Pokemon from this point onwards. Whenever Generation 10 comes out, like 3 or 4 years from now, I'm excited for it. So yeah, not anywhere near the top of the list, but I feel like it deserved a place on this top 10, just because I really enjoyed my time with it. You know, once you got beyond the frame rate dips and the performance issues, that was another whole can of worms. Did you see what music Toby Fox did for this game? I didn't actually look into that. Is it post-game music or what? Right, next one, number 7. So I just finished this game last night. This was a nice little surprise. Little indie title from, I think it's Wobble Games, I think that's the name of the developer. Published by, what do you call it? Platonic published this one. But yeah, Wobble Games made this one, and it's... I gave my thoughts on this last night. It's not really a video game in the traditional sense, like there's no real way to lose or die, quote unquote. Having said that, there's a lot of fun to be had here. The writing is excellent, the story that they tell is very endearing, the characters are fantastic. If you haven't played this, I would definitely give it a recommendation. Like, it's definitely inspired by Zelda, but it's its own thing, really. And it's a pretty short game as well, so you don't have to spend too long on it. Yeah, I love the messaging in this game. You know what I didn't notice until recently? Like, this artwork actually shows you their older, like, sibling in the background on the swing set. I never really noticed that until I saw this artwork again after beating the game. I was like, oh, okay. Did not see that back there. Number 6. Freedom Planet 2. Also, hey there, Bunnyconda, welcome to the stream. Area Zero Final Battle was the song. Some field battle themes as well. I'll have to listen to those again then. But yeah, Freedom Planet 2 was really good. Again, like I'm gonna be saying this for some of the games that I put on this list, but it's more of the same, but pretty much improved in every single way. Graphically it looks better, the level design's better. Some of the new characters are fun to play. Well, I would have... Wait a minute, did I play any of the new... No, I didn't play any of the new characters. Right, disregard. I did not play Neela yet. I'm going to be doing that next year. Who did I play as? I played as Lilac and Carol, right? I haven't played the other two. But yeah, it's good. I enjoyed it. And the story is better than the first game. Like, the first game... The story was fine, but it got a little melodramatic at times for the sake of melodrama. This game doesn't really do that so much, which I'm happy about. So yeah, I quite enjoyed this. I didn't do the whole game this year just because, you know, you have to replay all the same levels with different characters. It's like one of those kind of games. But yeah, at some point next year you will see me do the other characters in this game. I just decided not to do that this year just because there was so much going on in terms of games. And I didn't even get to finish all the games I wanted to this year. So this was a nice surprise. Spark the Electric Jester 3. Basically a 3D Sonic-inspired indie platformer, and the developer of this, I think it's just like one guy that makes these games. I don't know if they make the music, but I know they program the game, and let me tell you something. All the issues from Spark 2 were pretty much addressed here, and it was really fucking good. Like, the physics, the mechanics, the handling, all of that was way better, and the endgame was surprisingly tense, but also really fun. I also kind of like the story for this one as well. Like, some of the characters in this were pretty good. Yeah, I'm not going to spoil it, but the ending was very unexpected. Right, now we're starting to get into the really good stuff now. TMNT Shredder's Revenge. I think some of you guys saw this one coming. Like, this was a fucking banger of a game. Indie developed, I think I forgot the name of the developer, someone can correct me on it, but they knocked it out of the park with this game. It's basically TMNT Turtles in Time on fucking steroids, crack and cocaine all rolled into one. Like, that's the best way I can describe this game. And not only that, you can have online co-op, 6 players, with like rollback netcode, and it works amazingly. Also, I think the game got an update recently that added like customized arcade modes, so you can like customize with dip switches and stuff. I haven't tried that yet, and maybe I'll do that at some point next year. I really hope this game gets like post-launch DLC or something, because I would love to see like some extra levels and stuff, even though this game has like a lot of them. I'm always down for seeing some more from this game, if they end up doing that. If not, it's still a really solid game. Let's change that song. We'll go with that song. So I've just got a playlist shuffling, so I'm just picking a good song to go on. But yeah, TMNT Shredder's Revenge, really good. Sorry if I'm not really amazing at describing exactly what I like about these games, but if you guys know my taste, then you'll know why, I guess, hopefully, maybe, who knows. You probably saw this choice coming, speaking of Sonic Frontiers. This was a pleasant surprise after the sore spot of a game that was Sonic Forces from 5 years ago. Also, I think this is the longest that we've had to wait for a new mainline Sonic game between games, like 5 years development cycle. I'll tell you this though, it was definitely worth the wait. Like, I think this is easily one of the best 3D Sonic games that Sonic Team has ever made. Not even kidding, like, people were making the jokes like last year when they first revealed this, it's like, oh haha, Sonic Breath of the Wild, but it actually works. Like, this game legit actually works with an open world, like, or open zone setting, as they like to call it. Like, they dub it open zone. It's not fully open world, it's kind of like in between. Basically, think of the hub worlds from Sonic Adventure, but like much bigger, and with like a lot of stuff to do. It's not a perfect game by any means, but you can tell that a lot of effort went into this game. Like, gameplay was very solid, the music's fantastic. I mean, this is a song from it. My only real proper criticism is that the cyber zones were kind of like rehashes of level designs from previous Sonic games, which at first it's kind of cool, where it's like, oh cool, it's that one level from that one game that I like, but then you realise, oh, it's that one level from that one game that I've played before, for every level. But thankfully the cyberspace stages are not the main focus, it's the open world parts, and those parts are where the game really shines. Also, I have to mention real quick, this game's getting DLC in 2023, so whenever that happens, I will definitely be streaming this again. I did 100% in the game, I did get the true final ending, the final boss and whatever. I thought this was a really good game. Well done, Sega, you actually pulled through and made a quality Sonic game. Pokemon Legends Arceus, it's weird to think that we started the fucking year with this game, and it's a really damn good game. So yeah, second Pokemon game on the list of my favourite games this year, and for good reason, because this game is amazing. Like, I'm really bad at coming up with words, because I keep feeling like I'm saying, oh, this game is great, this game is great, this game is great. But yeah, speaking of open world, this is a more open world, open-ended Pokemon experience, where the game very much heavily encourages you to capture as many Pokemon as you can. It quite literally has got to catch them all. Like, you know that old slogan from the 90s? That's basically this game in a nutshell. And they do it quite well. Like, it's really fun. The gameplay loop is utterly engrossing. There you go, there's something I haven't said yet. The only thing I will say though is post-game starts to get a little bit tedious, because it's like you've got to like go through a checklist of things that you haven't done yet. But that aside, like the steam starts to run out a little bit in the post-game, which I ended up doing in the end, but it was still a really quality experience and one of the best games of this year. hey, it's this song that I played during the pre-stream. Again, I've got a shuffle on right now, so it could be any song from Sonic Frontiers. Right, so you guys probably, like, you can guess what my number one is. It's super obvious, right? Like, you know me. The clue is in the name of my stream, the name of me. You know what my number one is. It's this. Yeah, surprising absolutely fucking no one. Kirby in the Forgotten Land is my game of the year. And it's been a long time coming that we finally got, like, a proper mainline 3D Kirby game. Because we could have had one of these as early as the Nintendo 64, but no, the developers HAL Labs have been very resistant on, like, translating Kirby into 3D until very recently. And they kind of, like, tinkered and experimented with it a little bit on the 3DS with, like, a spin-off minigame, which was called Blow It Blast or something like that. But no, finally we got, like, a proper 3D Kirby game, and they really delivered on this. Pretty much everything that I love about the normal 2D Kirby games was faithfully translated into 3D and then some. And the only downside to this, and this is something I said about Star Allies as well, no online cooperative, like it's offline only, but that's like a minor thing. It's not going to ruin the experience. It would have been nice to like play it with someone else online, but yeah, whatever. That was like one thing that I didn't like. Otherwise, it was really fun. Like, I 100% did this game and did all the post-game content and everything, so yeah. It's also got one of the best settings in any Kirby game, like this sort of dystopian, like, post-apocalyptic Earth kind of setting, with like some really interesting lore behind it. Which I'm not going to get into, but yeah, that's a whole other thing entirely. The mouthful mode was also a really good gimmick this time around. Like, the gimmick for the last game was kinda eh. This one, though, had a lot of, like, applications to it. Like, whenever Kirby does, like, a gimmick to their game, it's either really good or it's really, like, it's either a massive hit or it's, like, a massive miss. Like, Kirby's Return to Dreamland, the Ultra abilities were fantastic, and then you got to Triple Deluxe and, like, the Hypernova Fruit, which they barely did anything with. It was just, like, press B to win. And then you get to Star Allies, which is, like, friend circle, friend wheel, friendship, friendship again. But then you get to this game, and they really diversified like what you could do with the mouthful mode and the applications therein, so yeah, fantastic. Bosses are really good as well. Oh yeah, Planet Robobot, how could I forget that? Planet Robobot had a really good gimmick behind it, that was like one of the best. I don't know if I would say Mouthful is better than Planet Robobot, but it's pretty close. It's hard to say if this is my favourite Kirby game of all time, but it's definitely up there. I would say this might be very close to Robobot, if not surpassing it a little bit. It's a bit too soon to tell, but I really enjoyed this. Right, so before we do the next set of things, I am just going to quickly sit for something. Hang on. I think I found the perfect song that I'm going to be using for the next segment. Let me just look for... Yeah, here we go. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot about this screen. So, honourable mentions. I'm not going to play that music for this. Just a second. Let me bring the chat back up. Professional streamer can't even plan properly. So yeah, here's all the honourable mentions of the games this year that I did not include in my top 10 for a number of reasons. Mostly because I did not finish a lot of these games, or that they were like collections or ports or remasters, which made it a little bit harder for me to like include them in the list. But yeah, just wanted to acknowledge all these games that I played this past year, which I would also say were pretty fun to play, but I did not include them in the list for the reasons I already mentioned. Mostly did not finish, and some of them I will try to finish next year. Not all of them. I mean, Infernax, I know I will get back to, and some of the games toward the bottom of the list I will return to as well. Right, so up. Fuck, you saw that. Don't worry about it. Right, so top 10, top 7 least favorite games. Now, I know I've got the me music playing, but I'm just going to say something real quick. Least favorite does not necessarily mean bad or god awful or good lord I hate it. What I mean by this is it's games that I wish I liked more. I say as I talk over fart trumpets. So here are my top 7. There was not enough for 10. Here's my top 7 least favourite games. I can't even do anything right. Right, here we go. I just finished this game recently. This was a shadow-dropped indie game that was on the Switch this past month. I'm including it because while there was stuff to like about it, it did not quite feel like a proper rhythm heaven. Like, it didn't have that magic to it. It's kind of hard to explain. Like, play this game and then play the demo for bits and bops, which gets so much closer to like the rhythm heaven experience than this game does. Also, this game is really fucking short. Like, it ended way quicker than I was expecting it to. It was like, oh, it's over. House of the Dead remake. This was a jank-ass remake. It was fine. It was okay. It got the job done. But good lord, this game had performance issues all over the place, and the motion controls were kind of hard to use. Like, I tried playing it with the Pro Controller and using, like, motion controls to, like, the gyro aiming to, like, point. It was kind of all over the place. It did not really feel amazing. I don't know if they patched it since then, but I never returned to this game, so my experience came from day one, more or less. Let's hope the House of the Dead 2 remake is better than this. This one might be a bit controversial. I don't know if anyone remembers this game. I played this earlier this year. I did like one stream of it. It's a puzzle game, which... It's not that it's a bad puzzle game, it's just I feel like it's too complex and... It feels very elaborate for my taste, and I really couldn't get into it. Also, the boss fights were frustrating, like the 2 or 3 boss fights that I did. But yeah, this game, it had a really interesting premise, but I feel like they could have done more with it. But yeah. You know what the sad thing about this is? This game? The developer actually did come into my chat just to like see what I was doing at the time, because they were like checking people who were streaming the game. So I kind of felt guilty about that. Like, I didn't tell them I hated it because I was still playing through it and like formulating my thoughts, but yeah, after having thought about it a little bit, I really didn't like this as much as I wanted to, which is a shame. Oh look, it's this game from 2020, back again with a vengeance. So this game went free to play this year, now dubbed Fall Guys Free For All. I played it again. I still don't like it too much. I'm not super keen on this one. It's fine, it gets the job done, it's alright, but this game made me way more salty than it really had to. The best thing about it was that one time where I played and they had like that Sonic event, but other than that, it was like, yeah. Oh, by the way, guys, I heard you like Fall Guys. Here's another Fall Guys game that I also didn't like. Oh boy. Oh, Kirby, why did you... You had the perfect game this year, why did you have to, like, make this and release it afterward? I can't speak. So here's the thing, I don't necessarily detest this game, it's just more so that I feel like... How do I put this into words? Right. Okay, here's how I'm gonna, like, sort of, like, put this in perspective, right? So a couple years ago, Kirby Fighters 2 came out, and I put that on my least favourite games of the year list. And the reason I put that on there was because that game came out in a world where we already had Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, a far superior, far better, far polished experience. And then this game comes out after, like, Fall Guys, which is not only a better game, but it's a free game. This game you have to pay like almost $20 for, so it's like, yeah, no, I'm good. So yeah, sorry Kirby. I love Forgotten Land, but Dream Buffet didn't do it for me. This might be an unpopular choice. I really liked this game at first, and then it started, like, my opinion of it started to like drift southwards after like the monetization and like the live servicey aspect. I don't know, like, I feel like after Season 2 or Season 1, whatever season it was, they kind of like killed the game, in a sense, because I tried streaming it on the new season, whatever the season was, I tried streaming it, and nobody was fucking playing. You know why? Because they launched a new season with no new characters, and nobody gave a shit after that point. Like, Pixel and I were trying to play it, trying to find people to play against, nothing was happening. So yeah, I don't know if anyone's playing it right now, but I think, the funny thing is, they did actually release another character afterwards, but I think it was too little too late at that point. Like, the whole live service thing, they kind of fumbled, and they added a whole Fortnite item cosmetic shop, which probably didn't help it much. Can you guess what number 1 is? I'll give you a hint. It's another live service game that probably shouldn't have been a live service game. Give up, right here it is. Number 1 is Chocobo GP. This probably will not surprise some people. This game had a lot of potential to be a really good Mario Kart alternative, much like Crash Team Racing Nitro Fuel did a couple years ago. But nah, it was severely undercooked, and they ended up framing it as a live service game. And the game's support has ended. Hooray! Like, the latest season that launched like a week or two ago is the final season of this game, so that means no more content after that. That's it, we're all done. But yeah, there was like the whole live service thing and just how little content this game really had. Like, there was very little tracks. Like, they tried to pad out the roster of tracks by giving you like alternate versions of the same track, which I don't mind that idea, as long as we had like other like proper tracks to complement it. But no, we didn't get that. There was only like, not counting the variations, I think there was only like maybe 6 or 7 different tracks, which is a fucking meager number of tracks to play on a kart racing game. Especially now that we're getting more tracks in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which already had a shit ton of tracks to begin with. So yeah. This fucking music, by the way, like, I can't stop fucking internally laughing just listening to this, like, Sonic Unleashed song. But yeah, this game, I feel like this game had no business being a live service game, and they really should have had this game in the oven for at least another year or so. This game is free to play, but there's also like a paid version which I ended up picking up, just so I could check out the single player story. That was like a major purchase regret for me. Like, I did not... I feel like... Yeah, the story mode was kind of shit. Let's be real. Like, I had some jokes and memes in there, but it was very bad. And do I have anything else to add on top of that? Oh yeah. Here's another downside to this game. What's that? You want it louder?
How well we get along. Oh, but when the race is on, no one can stop me on my way straight to victory. Fire, thunder, it's a blizzard, air or water, here comes the quake. All the magic sight waiting just for me. Now I'm super lucky. Can escape your doom. Oh no, no reaper. Bahamut looms above. Straight to the top all the way. What a fine day
and that's the point where everybody stops watching my stream. Okay, then, so that is my full list of the games that I did not like this year, sadly. Some of them less so than others, but yeah, this game, this game didn't. I wish there was more to this game to enjoy, but yeah. Does this song count as torture? That's the joke. So yeah, that pretty much concludes my top 7. I can hear fireworks outside now, by the way, because it's just past midnight over here. Yes, I am officially living in the future, and you guys are living in the past. But yeah, that's going to do it for my list of the games this year. Sorry if it was kind of last minute. I'm just going to hide that for a moment. But yeah, thank you guys for listening to me ramble for like nearly 30, 40 minutes. I don't know how long I did that for, but we're now going to move on to video games for the rest of the night, so let's go ahead and do that.